I know my chance with her is blown, cause my mouth gets carried away. I'm tongue-tied, 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 I get tongue-tied.
In terms of showing your intentions for a woman, here's the reality, guy. You don't need to do that. Like, I know men think, because here's where men's logic gets us in trouble, right? Because we think logically, well, in order for her to want to date me, I need to lay out all of my cards on the table and let her know for sure exactly what it is that I'm trying to do with her, so she'll feel comfortable enough for me to date her. And this is a hard thing that guys got to learn, but you got to get more comfortable with it, is that there is a level of attraction that comes from a woman not completely knowing what your intentions are. Like, for example, if you get her number, you don't need to say to her, hey, let me get your number because I tend to call you up. I tend to ask you on a date, and I'm hoping this is going to lead towards a relationship. Because here's the thing, really, in that first 3 months of dating, that's the time that you're trying to figure out what you want to do. So if you come to a woman on a first or second date and say, hey, so just so you know, I'm taking you out with the intention of hopefully getting to date you and then marry you. Well, that's date 1 or 2. And that's where you're thinking. She's thinking, I just want to be able to see enough consistency in this guy for the first 3 months to where I can decide if I'm going to fall for him or not. And so when you interrupt that by trying to tell her your massive plan for her on the first or second date, it can actually ruin it. Whereas on the other hand, let's say you get a number. Hey, let me get your number. You get a number and then you go home. And then you wait like 3 or 4 days before you hit her up. In that time, she's going to be thinking, man, I give this seemingly great guy my number, but he hasn't hit me up. He hasn't called me. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's lost interest. Maybe I really wasn't his type after all. Like, I don't know what's going on. I wish I knew. That little bit of mystery, that little bit of doubt from her about what you're going to do next with her number, that causes intrigue, that causes mystery, that causes her to talk to her friends about you. And I've seen this a few years ago. I mean, years ago, I worked at a telemarketing office for like 2 weeks. And I remember I came in on a Monday, and there was a woman that worked there that was chatty gossiping with 2 other women that were there. And she was telling about this great guy that she met at this bar, and they were making out at the bar and having a good time. And she gave him her number. What was she doing on Monday? Monday was, well, I met him on Friday, and then I get my number, and I haven't heard from him all week. And like, I wonder what's going on. Like, I hope he calls me because I want to see him again, but he hasn't texted me. He hasn't contacted me, yada, yada, yada. Now, most guys will see that as, oh, he's playing games. Or, oh, she's not going to fall for that. It's not a matter of even falling for that. It's a matter of the fact that because he's being patient, she doesn't know what his next move's going to be. And that is the thing that keeps women on their toes. And women, again, sad to say, part of them wants to be kept on their toes because it keeps the dating process exciting for them. And so many guys take the excitement of the dating process away from women by trying to tell them all their intentions right away. So this is why I tell you guys, it takes women 2 to 3 months to solidify their feelings. You need to be on the 2 to 3 month program where you're only asking her out once a week and where you're only initiating text or calls to ask her out. What does this do? Well, if you're only reaching out to her to initiate for dates, that means that she knows if she wants to hear from you more, she now has to reach out. And all this is doing in the process is building her attraction. Meanwhile, your only intention during that first 3 months is to see if she's a good candidate to be a girlfriend. And that does not have to be verbalized because most women understand that process. Most women, the reason they take 2 to 3 months is because they know it takes time to see consistency in a person to really vet them. And so the problem that women have is they're expecting men to get that. And most men don't. Most men, 2 or 3 good dates, we're already ready to make them the girlfriend. And they can't understand it because they're like, but I'm vetting him to make sure he qualifies. How is it after 2 or 3 dates, he's already qualifying me? This does not make sense. So you ain't got to have a conversation about intentions. If you know your intentions are well, all you got to do is be consistent in asking her out, taking her out, showing a good time, waiting a few days, asking her out, taking her out, showing a good time, maybe hooking up, repeat. You do that enough times, she'll get the idea that you're probably trying to take this beyond just a hookup. So hopefully that helps out.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm. Oh, yeah.